Hello and welcome back to Warsword Conquest, and Lizardo brings the pain. And he is indeed going to be bringing the pain this time around as well, because we have a very lucrative siege offense here. I'm going to be using my one-handed for the moment, just because it is a little bit quicker for me to use. It's actually quite funny, because the two-handed has more proficiency now, because I've just been using it so often. And the funny thing about that is that it's still much slower, just because the weapon is just slower, unfortunately. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that it would, in the end, be faster-ish, but unfortunately, no. That doesn't seem to be happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the two-handed for ward save enemies. So if we do see any ward save enemies in like a dungeon or something like that, for some reason I'm getting a bunch of lag as well here. Don't know why. I think that's actually happening when the fire belchers actually shoot. And so I'm kind of hoping that they're not going to do that often. We are getting a massive amount of damage incoming here as well. Oh, can I get up there? Can I get up there and actually kill those guys? Because, oh, wait, oh no, I can, okay, wait, we might actually be able to get around here. The fire belcher is causing huge amounts of damage to us right now, so I would love to be able to eliminate him if at all possible. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, come on now, get that guy out of the way, thank you. And now let's kill this, if I can. Unfortunately, this, he's just spamming overheads, how dare you. I am the only one allowed that can spam overheads, yes. Alright, okay. So, how are we doing? Pretty bad, actually. Pretty bad, all things considered. I'm kind of surprised. What's actually going on? Why have my people just completely sucked at the gates? It's very strange, actually. I never actually understand why that happens sometimes. Because, I mean, just look at what's happening right now. My forces are just getting killed. They're not actually doing anything. Even though we have a significant amount of relatively high-tier infantry. I've got 30 Scar veterans, just so you know. Obviously, it depends on if you think that's significant enough. But I think that 30 is quite a lot, considering it does take quite some time to level them up. It is kind of annoying to level them up, so I was kind of hoping that they would do a little bit more, you know, just a little bit more effective, please. Just a little bit more effective than they have been, but, well, what can you do, eh? What can you do? I'm basically just going to try to eliminate these guys. Where is the other fire belcher? Is there actually another fire belcher, or is that it? Because as far as I'm aware, there were 3 here. I think there were 3 in the garrison itself. So I'm very much hoping... Yes, these guys, literally every single time, they just shoot me in the face and daze me, and it makes it very annoying to attack. But, you know, thankfully they're dead now, so, you know, we can feel pretty good about that. Thankfully, we are actually doing okay. Unfortunate for me, though, there are a lot of depth guards here, and indeed, the Lizardmen are actually starting to fight back. So that is a good thing. They have actually started to fight back. That's the reason why I'm actually deciding to take this town, because they have taken the 2 castles that are nearby to the Araby, you know, those ones that we lost in the previous episode. Because I actually swung by there in my off-screen time. I took a look, and they basically only had 30 troops there in the garrison defending it. And so I thought to myself, yeah, you know what, that is just super easy. So I actually went into one of them. I took that back, and then they took back the other one. The AI Lizardmen did that. Because, let's face it, I don't really want to do everything for them, do I? I mean, generally I'm doing that anyway, so, you know, it's not really rare, you know, it's not really rare for me to do that, but yeah, anyway, I'm kind of hoping that we're going to be able to win this here. I'm a little bit skeptical, actually, a little bit skeptical about this, mostly because whenever I'm doing damage, I mean, you could see the damage I'm doing right here. You see exactly what's happening right now. It's not going particularly amazingly, let's just say that. It is not going particularly amazingly, mostly because there are still depth guards completely and utterly untouched. And they are always going to be a huge headache. They're going to be a massive headache for us. So I'm kind of hoping that we're going to be able to at least eliminate them. And once we've eliminated them, well, then things are going to be looking good, you know? Things are going to be looking very nice. I actually did level up. Look at that. We got to level 39. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this is definitely one of my least favorite. It's actually quite funny. I'm going to say this right now. a lot of the sieges are not really favorites of mine in the least. Not because the designs are not good, because they are. They are definitely very, very good. But they're not a favorite of mine, mostly because they are significantly good for the defenders, obviously. I mean, you know, let's face it, that is exactly what a siege defense should be. But from an offensive standpoint, it is very difficult to take these. I mean, as you've seen, look at what I've done here. You know, I've tried to be as, you know, efficient as possible. I've tried to, you know, run by myself, soloing all kinds of enemies, you know, all over the place, basically. And we are still relatively, I mean, we're not that far away from actually winning, but, you know, it's still a relatively large effort to win this, because I cannot rely on my own troops. I had to be the one to go over there and eliminate large swathes of enemies. If I didn't do that, we're never going to win. That's basically what it comes down to, and that is the reason why this is not a favorite of mine, for sure. Mostly because, yeah, as I say, the AI just doesn't know how to really win these things, and they just get stuck in the bottlenecks, and that's obviously the whole point. You know, the defense is obviously great. You know, the defensive ability to actually hold these fiefs is amazing. And that's the reason why it's a good fief, you know. It is actually a really, really good fief. But, as I say, it's just annoying to try and take it. Anyway, there you go. 8 renown for us, 30 morale. We ended up losing quite a few people, which is indeed expected, of course. And there isn't really anything else to be done here. Should I actually request that this be awarded to me? We could. We could. I'm thinking about it. It is a town. Okay, sure. Let's do it. Let's do it. And we do have another person that has just leveled up to 13, so that's quite nice. And let's see if I can... I'm just going to buy some honey here. I just want to try to increase my morale a little bit. And I also just want to make sure that we have enough, you know, enough food and all that wonderful stuff. I don't really want to run out of that, do I? Let's go into the tavern real fast. Yeah, the problem is I'm now going to have to station this. I'm going to have to garrison it with a bunch of things. Obviously, I have to wait for some time before I can actually do that, because otherwise it may very well be that they don't even give it to me. So I guess I'll wait and see whether that is actually going to happen. Alright, so it looks as though we're going to go into another siege defense right here. And, well, this is a bit of a funny one. Mostly because, as you know, I personally agree that this fief is absolutely amazing for defense, and I was just waiting here, right? I was just waiting here to see who's actually going to become the owner, and the pirates just came along, and they only have about 90 or so troops willing to pledge their lives in their attempt to capture it back, and this is not... This is not going to go well for them, let's just say that. This is really not going to go well for them. We have a bunch of revered guardians, Scar veterans, we even have some Croxagores at the back here, and there is no way, ever, that they will be able to do anything here. Not in a million years. Not even if they use their nefarious necromancers and various other spells and so on and so forth. Not even then. And even with the Firebelchers too, even with the Firebelchers, they're not actually going to be able to do anything either. I mean, I can basically just stand here, and I don't think we're going to be having any issues. Obviously, I could... I mean, look, the Firebelcher literally just killed a huge amount of his own troops, which is absolutely fantastic. That is actually really funny, and probably one of the main reasons why I do appreciate sometimes having Firebelchers on the enemy side, because they are a little bit stupid in that regard. They do tend to kill their own people quite often. And maybe even more often than they kill my own troops. So, very pleased about that, in fact. But, yeah, anyway, let's... Ah, there we go. I actually killed the Necromancer. That's very nice. And I killed one of the Firebelchers, too. Oh, I killed both of them. Very nice. Oh, I killed absolutely all 3 of them. That's wonderful. Okay, so we're basically done now. As you can see, only 2 enemies, 1 enemy actually remain, and there we have it. And that is it. easy, right? Super, super nice and easy. We gained another 8 renown for that. These guys both escaped, which is extremely irritating, actually, I have to admit. But, well, there is not much for me to do there. There isn't much for me to do. So I'm just going to go over here real fast, just going to recruit some people, because we need it. Funnily enough, we actually do need it. And I'll just continue to wait, and we'll see whether they actually decide to give this to me. If they don't give it to me, then that's absolutely fine. Then they could just take care of it themselves, and they can garrison it themselves and all that stuff, and I don't have to worry about it at all. I would actually like to move on, because the... yes, as you can see, the Arabi have already taken this back, which is hilarious. And I'm pretty sure someone is going to be taking this back relatively soon, too. Ah, hello. Ah, yes, this is a much larger battle. Okay, yeah, so as you can see right here, we are now being attacked by even more pirates. And these pirates number in the, what? Do they have 600 or so? I think they have 600 or so. Okay, so that's what's going on here. Ogre tyrants who win the duel for the crown are rarely satisfied with their spoils and will often harass the loser if they survive. The tyrant who defeated Ugluk frequently sends out mercenaries to lay him on the dirt and remind him of his place. Today is one of those days, and Ugluk is left injured after being jumped while relieving himself. Well, that's not very nice, but there you go. All right, I guess that's ogre culture for you, and hopefully he's gonna pick himself back up, because we're gonna need him for this. I mean, we might not need him, but it's definitely gonna be of great benefit if he ends up joining us here. Okay, so wow. The enemy actually has much more than I thought. I thought they'd have about 600, but no, they actually have closer to 900. Well, this is not great. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right. Yeah, this is exactly the kind of situation where I would say to you right now, I wish I had some kind of ranged attack. And I'm mostly talking about a bow here. I'm talking about a bow or, even a firearm, playing a Skaven or something like that. You'd probably be able to use a pistol or something along those lines. And you'd probably be able to do a pretty good job, But unfortunately for me, nope, that is not on the cards. And this is going to take quite some time, isn't it? Yes. This is going to take quite some time. I mean, as you can see right here, the ratio already is literally what? 5 to 1, basically? It's pretty much 5 to 1. So if we take that into account, we're going to lose 100 units for the enemy's 500. So so if we double that, then we're going to be losing 200 units. And that is basically almost our entire defense. So, extrapolating from that, we have to make sure that the ratio is better than what I've just outlined to you right now. So if we can make sure that it is better than a 5 to 1 ratio, if it's a 6 to 1 ratio, then we'll probably be just about fine. If it's 5 to 1, it's going to be extremely, extremely close. So I'm going to have to do something about that, but I'm not entirely sure what to do. I could... I'm wondering whether we should actually tell my forces to charge out there. The main problem with charging out, obviously, is that we are going to probably get shot more often. We'd probably get shot more often, and obviously the bottleneck is extremely, extremely good for us. So maybe it's not a good idea. But the one thing I'm thinking of right now is the fact that if we go out there, the enemy is no longer going to have any way of using any ranged ability against us, because we'll be right on top of them, basically. So they technically can't shoot in here, even if it is through a very minuscule section of the wall. Because you can see here, obviously there is a very small section that they can fire through and everything. Alright, so there's actually one thing I want to say about this particular siege, apart from the fact that I have been kind of just standing here a little bit AFK for the last 10 minutes because I haven't actually had the opportunity to even get close to the opponent. But it looks as though we are actually going to win this. But what I really wanted to say and to highlight is the fact that this map is so well made because it doesn't have an invisible wall here. It allows me to literally go along the outside and just walk like that all the way down. Obviously, I don't think it allows me to walk up, does it? It does? Secret, that is a nice secret way to actually get up here if you're a part of the attackers. It doesn't seem as though I am actually capable of getting on here because I don't have enough speed. But the fact that there aren't any invisible walls, when in Bannerlord, for example, there are a huge amount of invisible walls in the base game alone, it is very, very nice to actually see those kinds of things for once, because let's face it, we don't get that a lot. You know, there are a lot of times where invisible walls are just going to be placed basically everywhere. And sure. Oh, okay, I understand the reasoning, but you know, I understand why, because otherwise you're going to do stuff like this, really, really stupid stuff like this, where I just literally jumped over here, and now I'm basically stuck. But what I really love is actually being able to do this kind of thing. This is the reason why a lot of games nowadays, they lose that sort of exploratory element, which is, you know, it's definitely present, obviously. It's definitely present in certain cases, even if they do have invisible walls. But there are certain situations like this, for example, where it's a mod and it's supposed to be a game about freedom. It's supposed to be a game about being able to go where you want to go and do what you want to do. And the ability to just do exactly that, especially in a siege, really fantastic. I absolutely love that. And they've done a great job. As I have said multiple times, the scene makers just not going for that, for those invisible walls. Just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Anyway, let's wait here for some time, and we're gonna obviously see what happens. We've yes, we've been here for quite some time already, and I'm kind of hoping that they're gonna give me the ownership over this so that I can start putting some, you know, troops in the garrison. I don't really want to do that beforehand because you never know what's going to happen. You know, it's probably going to be a nice idea to just kind of relax with that for a moment, just in case they do actually give it to someone else. And yeah, the Tomb Lords are apparently attacking something else. We have another pirate coming in here. And yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, that was actually quite a few... Oh, no. Oh, he's not giving it to me. Okay, he's not actually giving it to me. Okay, that's fine. Sure. Okay, I'm going to accept the decision. Okay, now, my main reasoning for this is that even though I think I would do a much better job at being a leader of a faction, the main reason why I want to remain a part of the Lizardmen is because without them, I'm going to be basically facing every single opponent by myself. And as I said to you before, I would actually like to eliminate the undead pirates, and then maybe eliminate the Tomb Kings. I'm not sure whether that's actually going to be even possible, but I'm going to accept the decision of this nevertheless, even though it is a wonderful standard where we are... Oh, that's very nice. I actually found a skink priest. That's wonderful. That's very rare, for me at least. But yeah, anyway, the point is that generally it is not a great thing to get 900 gold for, you know, in exchange of a fief. Not sure which person in the Warband development team thought, hey, you know what? Yeah, you know what would be really, really good? Yeah, 900 gold in comparison to yeah, an entire fief, you know what I mean? That is just, it's just ludicrous to think that that was good compensation, you know what I mean? It's just so super funny. Anyway, unfortunately, the Lizardmen are not being particularly useful right here. They're not being very useful at all. There's 99 people in this particular castle, and Well, there's not much for me to do at the town there, but they are actually... Look at this army of enemies. Look at that. Another army of enemies are going to attempt to take this, and this is indeed the same siege that we had beforehand, so I'm obviously going to be taking this. I'm not actually going to be showing you too much of this because we've seen this multiple times now, and I'm kind of hoping that my skink priest is going to stay alive, because having a couple of spellcasters would definitely make our job a lot easier. Although, to be fair, it is actually quite fun to go in here and actually slay a bunch of undead with my sword, and to have my lizardmen actually being somewhat useful here, because obviously, I mean, yeah, they were definitely useful in the siege defense, but I was kind of falling asleep a little bit there, because, you know, I couldn't really do much. I could obviously go outside, and I could do a little bit of damage here and there, but unfortunately, that's just, you know, that is literally just how it is in Warband sieges sometimes. Sometimes the most effective thing to do is sometimes the most, shall we say, less exciting thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, sometimes I kind of just have to chill at the back of the bus, as it were, and just allow my forces to do what they do. And, you know, I, as I said to you, I did contemplate charging out there, but then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to take any chances, you know? I'm not going to take any chances. I'm just going to be kind of calm about it. I'm going to make a good decision and just make it so that we will have the opportunity to continue onward afterwards. Because if we were to charge out there, what do you think's going to happen? We're probably going to end up losing more troops than we would have otherwise lost if we had just stayed within the walls, because that's generally how it works, isn't it? You know, it really makes a huge difference to stay in the walls, especially when it comes to a bottleneck like we had. And, you know, despite me wanting more excitement and me wanting more fun, because let's face it, it is a lot of fun to go outside and actually try and, you know, find enemies to slay and, you know, all kinds of cool things to do. Sometimes that's not the most efficient thing, and so as a result you're then going to be sabotaging your future efforts. And while, you know, the excitement and the fun and so on and so forth initially is going to be great, the, you know, side effect of that is obviously going to be more damaging than we would otherwise want. So that's the reason why I basically just said to myself, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to leave it. You know, just going to leave it. So there we go. We've taken that. Okay, so this is... Oh, that's not under siege anymore. Okay, that's interesting. And that has been taken... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, they actually took... Oh, no, never mind. That's under siege. They actually took that back. And it seems like they may have taken this. Oh, no, that's actually under siege. That's going to be taken back in just a moment. So we don't really have to worry about that. Okay, let's go on to Desperado. Let's see how many people are actually there. I am 100% hoping that there will be at least, shall we say, let's try and hope for about maybe 100 people. Maybe 100 people. I don't think I'm going to be getting that lucky, and we're going to be getting, you know, 30 strong castle or something like that. Because if there's only 30 people there, it's probably going to be, that's going to be very shocking, actually, to see that. I don't think we're going to get that lucky. So yeah, I'm just going to go for a Constitution, actually. I think that is probably the best course of action for me right now, even though Weapon Master would probably be kind of nice too, but... Oh yeah, I should probably go here and defend this, shouldn't I? Yes. Okay, so I will literally just wait here once more. This is another one of those times where we're going to have to do a little bit of busy work, which is kind of unfortunate. As you can see, I am still gaining 4,700. My wages are cut in half because I am waiting for some time at the town, which makes a huge difference, by the way. So if you are a min-maxing person, here's a small tip. If you have a large weekly wage, make a note of the date when your wages are taken, and always make sure that you are in a town waiting at that exact date. And then you're always going to pay 50%. And that's the reason why having a weekly wage is far and away so much better than having a daily wage. I really don't like the way that Bannerlord does the wages, unfortunately. I think that it prioritizes far too much you having to scramble to make money and not enough on the strategy of doing other things like, you know, doing quests and getting renown and, you know, making alliances and so on and so forth. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. But the fact is, I'm gonna have to sit here now, and we're gonna wait for a pretty considerable amount of time until 500 enemies have been killed. Alright, so yeah, because I'm obviously very much dying of boredom right here, I am going to actually tell my people to charge directly at the opponent. And we are going to try to actually thwart the last wave of enemy troops outside the walls, if my forces can even get outside the walls. I'm actually not entirely sure if it's even possible for them to do such a thing. But I will be very, very pleased if I can actually make this happen. If I can make this happen, I will be exceptionally happy because, let's just say, me standing around there for another 10-15 minutes, not the most fun thing to do, I gotta say, not the most fun thing, because let's face it, I'm not gonna be getting into the bottleneck to save my life. There is no way I will be able to do that. And as you can quite clearly tell, yep, even if I want to, it is not going to be doable for me to get my forces to charge, because the enemy is just right on top of us here, and it is very much impossible. So, very sadly enough, we will have to deal with the bottleneck situation, and I will just, you know, attack a bunch of people from behind here. Obviously, you do have to bear in mind that this is the final wave, pretty much. I've made it so that I've timed this accurately enough so that we only have to deal with the last wave. That was the reason why I actually cut back at this point, because I thought to myself, oh, maybe we can actually go outside and fight them past the bottleneck. That would be so much fun. And, well, it would be. It would be a lot of fun to fight on the bridge here, outside, but clearly that was not to be. And there you have it. Yes. So we have obviously managed to achieve victory. Wow, they all escaped. Well, that's not very good, is it? No. That's actually really, really bad. That is so bad, in fact, that I'm now not entirely sure if we can even... Can we even win this? Can we even do anything against these guys? I have no idea, but Samak has actually leveled up once again. Investigate the caravan? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? Give me some stuff. Thank you. That's pretty nice. Ah, hello. Okay, yeah. So, what is actually going on? Can I ask something real quick? What is actually going on with the vassals? Is this a warband thing, and I'm just not used to it, or what? Because these guys are literally spawning out of thin air with massive amounts of troops. I'm not sure if that's just because of the amount of vassals that each particular faction has, but I don't really want to stay at one place for the entire episode. You know what I mean? Well, yes. They very clearly, they just took it, which is extremely annoying, actually. That is extremely annoying, because I did so much work to defend that thing, and I did not want to stay there for any moment longer. Not because it's a bad map in any way. It's just, I want to do stuff, you know? I want to do stuff. I want to go in and attack enemies. I want to defend against enemies. I want to fight them. I want to level myself up. I want to experience new maps and new enemies and so on and so forth. But if they continue to come to this one place, it's just annoying and very frustrating. So I'm kind of wanting to get a little bit away from that, and maybe we can actually take this. I think this seems like a pretty decent one for us to take. I think we'll probably be in a really, really good position actually here, because it doesn't look as though they have any fire belchers or anything like that, and that's obviously one of the main problems that we're going to have most of the time. Let's just try and kill the depth guard if we can. Once the depth guard dies, then we'll be good. And then otherwise, yes, we are fine. Okay, come on, guys. I'm going to actually try to help my forces get past the bottleneck here rather than going and assaulting some of the archers. Because usually what I do is I try to clear out the archers as much as possible. Because if I clear out the archers, then they're not going to be doing damage to us. They're not going to be doing damage to any of my Croxagores. They're not going to be doing anything, basically. But I actually think that maybe it is a better idea for me to help my forces to penetrate the enemy and then to go and for me to penetrate the archers. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a much, much better idea. Because if we do it that way, then we're... I mean, look at what's happening right now. We got a bunch of people and... Wait a minute. There is actually a cannoneer on the top of that rooftop, which is definitely making a huge amount of damage happen, which is not very nice. But I can't really do much about that. I'm actually not entirely sure how to even get on top of the roof, but I'm going to assume that my people can figure out. Yep, they definitely figured out a way, as you can see. It's just so funny to see the massive Croxagores on the roofs. That is very funny. And we do have another bundle of people here. I gotta say, I actually feel like the pirates and their fiefs are very, very pirate-coded. I know that sounds really funny to say. It sounds a bit dumb to say that, to be honest, because let's face it, yeah, obviously they are supposed to be pirate-coded. But have you seen exactly what I mean by that? There are so many little areas for these ranged troops to spawn, and every single pirate most of the time is indeed a ranged unit. And so they are... you know, fundamentally so much stronger just because of that. And what's actually happening down there? We got 2 people in the water or something like that? Yeah, it looks as though they spawned underneath in the water or something. I don't know. But, yeah, that is indeed a victory for us. So that's pretty nice. I actually very much appreciate being able to capture something for once instead of having to defend. Because we did actually spend quite a lot of the time in the previous episode defending as well. And I was kind of not wanting to do that again. But... maybe it was a mistake for me to leave, you know what I mean? Maybe it was a mistake for me to leave the previous town. But I don't know, I just didn't want to stick around there any longer, you know? Sometimes you just want to try something a little bit different. And in this case, well, kind of had to, right? Kind of had to. Let's actually take a look here. Okay, 163. I would like to take the town, if at all possible, but I think that's going to be extremely, extremely expensive for us in regards to our resources. And you have to bear in mind that our resources are indeed our troops. And we have, you know, we have to take those into account. Let's actually just see here. Okay, yeah, we still have our engineer ready, so... what we're going to do is we're literally just going to... we're going to go on a bit of a siege spree here. Because... ooh! Oh, no, this is a fun one. Okay, I like this. I like this. Yes, yes. I think this layout is probably my favorite so far. Mostly because while it does still have a bunch of archer nests, gunner nests, whatever you want to call them, and it does generally tend to favor the opponent quite nicely in regards to their ranged attacks. As you can see right here, we're just getting absolutely massacred by their... well, shall we say bombarded by their shots. This is much better than the previous ones, I gotta say. I do not like fighting in the previous ones so far. I like this one much more, so this is gonna be great. Hopefully, if I can just, you know, once again, assist my melee troops into getting into the enemy's lines, that's all we need. That is all we need, and then we will no doubt have, I mean, that's the funny thing. The enemy is not really gonna have a leg to stand on, because, you know, they are indeed without any fire belchers. And while they do have cannoneer masters and things like that, and cannoneer masters are obviously pretty damaging, they have the same kind of weapon that a fire belcher would have, I do tend to think that fire belchers can deal more damage. It just feels like that to me, at least. So let's actually see what's happening here. Wait a minute, wait a minute. We've got... okay, yeah, no. I think we should be fine. Even if we end up losing a couple of people... it's not really that bad. I mean, yeah, sure, it's, you know, it's kind of annoying to do that because they do take quite some time to level up. Lizardmen are quite a bit harder to level up than other units I found. I'm not sure whether that's just me, but it feels like that, at least. It feels like that. So, yeah, anyway. This should be, yep, this should be absolutely fine. We basically just need to eliminate the last couple of reinforcements that we have. flowing in here, and then we will be able to take this. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of a gamble here. I will try to take the town, because if we can take the town, that's going to alleviate a lot of pressure from my other allies, because basically what that's going to do is it's going to force the enemy AI into thinking, ooh, okay, the Lizardmen have taken our town, we're going to have to do something about that. And so then they're going to try and focus down that town as much as they possibly can. And then in the process of them focusing down the town, if they completely ignore the rest, they're going to be coming after me and after that garrison, and hopefully we'll be able to defend it. At least that's the goal. Anyway, I'm not sure if that's going to be particularly useful or particularly a good strategy, but I would prefer to do that than to wait in this town over here, because that's annoying. I don't want to have to do that. I want to be able to play the game, you know what I mean? I want to be able to play the game, thank you very much. So let me actually just see here. So let me see, where do we want to go? Do we want to go here, or do we want to go to Swamp Town? I think we'll probably go to Swamp Town. No, we're gonna be declining that. Thank you very much. Okay, let me actually just see here. Samak is not doing very well. Yeah, unfortunate. Okay, so they don't have any fire belchers, which is obviously fantastic. Let's build the walls. I'm gonna have to wait until Samak gets on his feet, because otherwise we're gonna have some problems. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to wait until tomorrow. Yeah, the annoying thing about this is that I can't actually check. Yeah, they're going to take back Desperado and all that stuff. Let me actually see. No, still not on his feet. That's kind of annoying. I don't know why he takes so long to regenerate. But you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to put him all the way at the end, because he's basically our sole engineer and medic. And I don't really want him to die all the time. So, you know, he's gotten some pretty good engineering skill now, so I kind of want him to stay relatively pristine in terms of his HP. And now let's see what happens. So let's have a look. Yeah, we are now fine. Our surgery and first aid and all that stuff is ready. Let's do this. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. We're going to get 30 renown if we win this. That means that this is a hard siege. Oh, I remember this one. Do I remember this siege? Is this a similar map to what I remember we did in a previous series? Maybe I have actually besieged this one before. I'm actually not entirely sure, but yeah, well, whatever the case, I am feeling pretty good about this. I like the layout, and I like the way this is going so far, because we get to go kind of soon into melee with them, and we don't have to worry about huge amounts of archer nests or gunner nests or anything like that. And this is definitely going to favor us. I must admit, actually, this is a weird siege. This is a very, very weird siege, because, I mean, you'd think, hey, you know, pirates, they're going to have huge amounts of ranged troops, and they're going to have a lot of places for them to kind of stand and stuff like that, but no, not in this one. So this very much brings them down to our level, which I very much appreciate. Super, super nice to actually fight on this, and this does mean that I can get stuck in, you know what I mean? I can actually do the thing that we want to do when it comes to playing a game like this, which is actually to fight and to slay your opponent. And that's what we like to do, isn't it? That is what we like to do. I might actually get myself killed here. if my healing doesn't come into its effect. For some reason, I'm not getting particularly lucky on that. Not sure why. There we go. There's a nice heal. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, that is going to save me for a little bit longer. Unfortunately, these guys are having relatively large cannons, and the cannons are indeed very damaging. And now my forces are actually starting to come over here, so we'll have a much easier time. And look, what? We've already won. Look at that. We've already won. We basically sustained no casualties whatsoever, just purely because we had such an aggressive start. And that's the reason why, generally, I feel like pirates are either really, really strong or they're really, really weak. And I think in this case, they're very, very weak, because you can clearly see why. I mean, you saw that, right? You saw exactly the reason why they were weak there, because they just couldn't do anything. There was nothing for them to do. They were basically beset upon by us instantaneously as soon as we loaded in. There was basically nothing they could do about it, which really made all the difference in the world. Anyway, there we go. All right, I'm going to take this, going to take that. We're going to do this. I'm not going to request that this be awarded to me or anything like that. I don't really mind, actually, all things considered. And we're just going to sell some of this stuff. Sell this, sell this, sell this. We're going to get 3,000 gold for that. And I do want to get a little bit of food as well. And we're going to go into the tavern and we're going to sell a couple of our prisoners. I'm kind of hoping to find a... I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest, but a potion seller would be kind of nice. Even though I don't really need it super, super badly, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that I wouldn't mind it. Anyway, we're just going to sell those 6,000 prisoners. We still have the vassals, bear that in mind. So we're obviously going to be trying to keep those as much as we possibly can. We do not want them escaping for any reason. And Lizardo actually leveled up once again. Look at that. He's leveling up like no one's business. I like it. Alright, so what else are we going to be going for here? Well, I'm thinking we're probably just going to continue getting intelligence here and just spending the skill points on things. I'm thinking right now that I should probably go for one last point in Weapon Master, and then we'll just go for another point in Constitution. I feel like the ability to regenerate just that much faster while on the world map is actually really, really strong, at least for the player character, because then I can almost always participate in battles. And I don't really have to worry about being, having to regenerate or doing an ultra resolve or anything like that. But as you can see, look at what's happening right now. So we've now kind of split the pirates in half pretty nicely here, actually. So we've got, a town and a castle over here, which are pretty easy for us to take. It should be easy for us to take. I mean, I'm talking about the lizardmen here. Maybe they can actually pull their weight for once. And I'm going to continue onward and actually take this, but we're going to do that in the next episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.